Hello and welcome to the channel. My name's Michael and today I'm coming to you with a little bit of a declaration of war here. So that's right, indie authors are actually declaring war on AI and with good reason. Now I had intended to come along somewhere in the future and talk a little bit about this some more, whether that was in like a blog post or a video on the channel here, just more around like the ethical conundrum that AI has actually thrown into the mix here. But it's not what I'm here to talk about today, because I'm actually talking about something way worse with regards to AI, and that is scammers using AI to replicate or plagiarize people's work, indie authors' work, and posing it off as their own. So what people are doing is they're targeting indie published authors. They're putting indie published authors' books into AI, asking it to be rewritten, change the character names, change the setting slightly. AI is doing all the work there, and then they're just using AI again to recreate the cover design ever so slightly. The idea is to still make it look and seem familiar, so that all the authors, the original authors' kind of marketing work, all the stuff they've done to build the book up, build popularity, word of mouth, all that, they can still capitalize on that, because it's very easy to confuse the two, and they're posting it and they're getting away with it at the moment. Now don't worry, I'm not just coming on here with like a horror story. I've done a little bit of research into this when I found out, as someone who's looking to publish an indie book. I was absolutely horrified when I heard out about this. So I immediately started doing some research into what the options are, how you can kind of protect yourself. And there does seem to be some stuff out there, so I'm going to share that with you today. We're going to fight AI together. I don't want to kind of call myself the John Connor of indie publishing, but you know, if you want to say that, then that's absolutely fine. But yeah, jokes aside, there is stuff that you can do. So in the UK, in the US, and in other countries as well, your work is automatically copyrighted. So as soon as you kind of create something, as soon as you kind of become a creative and you make either whether it's artwork or a novel or a song or whatever, your work is automatically protected within copyright law. So that work is yours. On Amazon, there are ways then for you to kind of go to Kindle and say, someone has copied my work, I want this to be taken down. They may ask for evidence of that. So one tip that I would have for you is to kind of just keep note of some of the stuff, whether you're sending your work to beta readers, discussing your work in your writing groups, sending it out to ARC readers, your editor, whatever, your cover design author. Keep evidence of this, keep hold of it. Don't just empty out your inbox if it's clogging up, if you think it's clogging up. Keep records of it, just in case you're ever asked to prove. What you've got to remember is that there are people out there that could be looking to kind of scam you, and when you're sending out even ARC reviews or something, there's a horrible kind of scenario there, a worst case scenario, where someone could get hold of a copy of your book before you've even published it and put it out before you. So just be very, very careful who you're sharing your work with, and just keep records of things, because when you go to Amazon, when you say to them that they've copied your work, you want to be able to prove that. So there are some instances where you will want to kind of purchase, or you might want to purchase a copyright, and that's if you want to take that next step and think about legal action. Now this is why indie authors are the big target, because they know that the little guys like us don't have the financial backing. A lot of courts won't even kind of take a case unless it's for huge amounts of money, and we're not going to want to kind of foot up the legal fees, which is why indie authors are being targeted. But if you did decide to make that step and go down the legal route, then having a copyright is just a way for you to provide a paper trail, like proof of ownership. But if you've kept receipts from like your editor, you've kept evidence of you sending out to beta readers, if you've got a good paper trail of you starting your story nice and early, then obviously the scammer is not going to have that evidence, and you might not need the copyright anyway. But just something to think about if you do decide to go a little bit further with it. Again, who's got the money to do that? That's why they're targeting indie authors and they're not going and you know, ripping off George Martin or Brandon Sanderson and calling it, I don't know, Game of Bones or something, because they know that George R.R. Martin or Brandon Sanderson has the financial power and the team to not take any of that, whereas indie authors, we're all in the same boat, we're all just starting out, and so they're attacking us. Now, here's something that you can do is share it and get your story out there, because one way that us indie authors can make a difference is by putting pressure on Kindle to do something about this. This is a growing problem, and it's not just happening to, like, you know, people who are down at the bottom. This actually happened recently to the Sword of Kagan author, which is quite a famous book in the indie publishing world, by M.L. Wang. It was a fantastic book, won awards, sold tons and tons of copies, and someone's actually went and ripped this off. Now, it's my hope and wish that because it's happened to such a big author, that it'll raise awareness. Kindle will kind of wake up and do something about it, put policies in place. Maybe they'll take them to court. M.L. Wang will take it further, because they do have the financial clout to really kind of hurt someone into doing this. But scammers are normally quite sophisticated, they're quite smart, probably doing it under a fake name. Accounts, maybe it's like kind of going through accounts that are abroad. You just don't know. So, but raising awareness, making a noise about this, sharing it with the community, and just making sure that everyone is aware of it is a huge way in which we can get Kindle's attention and make sure that they're putting safeguards in place to stop it from happening, for one. Whether they can have like some sort of system in place where, you know, they look at the books that they've got on their catalogue and can cross-reference and go, this is really similar, we just need to have a little look further into this. But even if not, even if it's not that's impossible or will be difficult for them to do, have policies in place that as soon as you raise it, they can really quickly take action, and have processes in place to just immediately take books down that have been found to be plagiarising other authors' work. Now, if you kind of don't feel like you've got a big enough community to share it to, feel free to send it to me. My X is in the description and should be on the screen now. Feel free to kind of send it to me and I'll share it, I'll talk about it, I'll email Kindle. I'm very happy to kind of band everyone together, because it's just such a huge problem. It's the worst thing in the world. I can't imagine anything worse, and I spent 7 years on my book, and the idea that I can put it out there and then someone can just come along and slap a different title on it and put their name is just sickening to me. So it happening to other people, it's just really sad to see, and I would like to help in any way I can. So to recap, your work's automatically protected under law, so you don't need to kind of go out and purchase one unless you haven't really got a good paper trail of your book, and then maybe you will want to kind of put a stamp on it, just in case you do decide to kind of take it any further if something like this does happen to you, and you need to put like an infringement case, a plagiarism lawsuit out there, and then obviously you've got that copyright as evidence. But then another thing you can do, as I say, if this does happen to you, is put your story out there, lean on the community, and just make sure that people are aware of it, because one voice is not as loud as many voices, and you can put pressure on Amazon as a group, on Kindle, and just make sure that they're changing these procedures and making sure the processes are quick and effective, and just limiting the damage to your book as soon as possible. I just want to quickly touch on something else that I've noticed within the community as well, just whilst we're on this topic of scammers and fraud. And this is something I've seen with editing and referrals. Now, I don't know if this is AI related, probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if bots or something do have a hand to play in this. But I've seen multiple reports now within my community on people asking for referrals for editors, putting the word out there and saying, I'm looking for an editor for my book, can anyone recommend anybody? And authors are replying to people on X, on other social medias, and saying, I can recommend a great editor. it's this person putting their hat on there, everything looks legit, and then when they go to the editor and the editor will give them a quote, ask for them to pay up front, they pay them, they never hear from the person again, they get blocked, it's gone. This has happened to multiple people within the community. I've seen it on X several times. I've asked for the story, I've asked for how it come about. Now, there are other ways that you can look for an editor. I've done a video, which the link will be in the description below, or hopefully I can work out my IT and it'll pop up on the screen. But I've done a video on looking for an editor and the best way to do it, and I did speak about referrals on there as being one way that you can do it. Now, I wasn't keen on that option. I mentioned that in the video, but it wasn't because of this. It was just because I wanted to see the person's work. I just wanted to have that like kind of security, like financial security, and so referrals just didn't appeal to me. But this is now another layer to this. When you're looking for referrals, when you're going out and you're asking for people to recommend someone to you, an editor, whether it's an editor, a cover design artist, you have to do your research. Is this person, this author who is replying to you and saying, yes, I use this editor, are they legit? Check if they've got a website. Check the books, you know, go onto their books and say they should have their editor in there somewhere, whether it's in acknowledgements or, you know, on the copyright page where it might say who it's been edited by, but check it out, do the research, because we're talking about big lumps of money here, so hundreds, sometimes thousands of pounds for an editor, and the idea that someone could just come along and steal that is terrible. And I understand that they're not preying on you because you're gullible. They're preying on your creativity, they're preying on your ambition, you know, your idea, the idea that you want to get a book out there and you're really keen and you want to do it as soon as possible, and they prey on that, and it's terrible. And you're the kind of perfect person for them, because you're someone who's creative, who's put something together and is really keen to share it with the world, and they just prey on that keenness and they just prey on that excitement. So make sure you do your research, even if you have to just take a moment and spend a little bit more time. But yeah, if you check out my video in the description below, it'll give you some other options. I use the Freelancer website, and on there you have the payment protection system where you pay up front, like these people who've been scammed do, but the website withhold that money. There's like that extra layer of protection where the Freelancer website, the service provider, keeps hold of that money until you say that you've received the service that you've paid for, until you've got the editor's work back and you go, yeah, this is what we agreed, this is what I paid for, it's all been edited, it's to the quality that we just, like the sample that I was provided, and then they release the money to the editor. And vice versa, if the editor wouldn't start the work until the company approved that they confirm that they received the money. So it goes protection both ways. So please check out that video if that's something you're worried about, and just stay safe out there. I mean, most of the community, 99.99% of the writing community that I'm part of, like readers that I'm part of, are just so honest and kind, but there's just the 0.01% of people who are just out there trying to take advantage of people. AI is a growing problem, and it's something again that we need to be aware of and keep one eye on as creative people. So yeah, let's stick together. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.